have finished our SWL review. You've taken your SWL, so we have one last unit before the end of the year. This assignment sheet has from here to the end of the year. Last class we learned about quadratic formula. Today we're going to learn about graphing quadratics. So we remember for Unit 11 we took out a couple topics that were not covered on the SWL and we saved it for afterwards so that we could spend more time reviewing for the SWL. So we are doing it now. So that's our 11B part of our unit. And then we have a couple algebra topics that are important for geometry. Midpoint and distance formula, as well as the Pythagorean theorem. So that's going to kind of round out our unit. So you will have a test on these topics, the rest of 11B, and our new pre-geometry stuff. And that test is on June 10th. So again, this is a short unit. So take a look at our calendar. Here's today. June 10th is next Friday. So this unit's only about a week and a half long. So keep that in mind. And then we have a day of final exam review, and then it's your final. So we've already done a lot of review and reviewing for the SOLs. Your final covers everything we've learned this year, so what was on the SOL, including this last little unit that we're doing. Nope, SOL, and then our final for this. So our final in here, third period, is on the 20th. So just taking a look at the schedule down here. The 15th is your last day of actual classes. That is a black day. So our last day for red, like normal classes, is going to be on the 14th. That's our final exam review. Now we do see you again on the 17th. Keep in mind that the 16th is graduation, so you do not come to school on that day. I guess.
Wait, how does that work? Yeah, you just don't come to school.
16th you don't come to school.
Yeah, and then
Graduation day, so all the teachers will be at graduation and the seniors will be at graduation because it's during the day, so they just apparently don't have school for you guys, you lucky ducks. At my old school, it was after school, so everyone still had to go to school that day. Yeah, we have to go to graduation, then I have to come back and I don't know yet. Yeah. Sometimes they have specific jobs for us, but also support. Yes, Mommy? Yes, you will get a review packet for the final. That's your final exam review here.
I didn't say that.
I know, but you giggled. And Tayshawn, that's not nice. Alright. So, taking a look at things. So, 15th is your last day of normal classes. 16th, you don't have school. The 17th is a full day. It is a red day, but it's your first period final. So, we'll see you. We'll just do some more review, but it's not going to be the normal length of class because you will have your first period final at the end of the day. Now then, on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, these 3 days, you come in, take your 2-hour final, have minutes in between for passing classes, another 2-hour final, and then you go home. So they're half days. 20th, 21st. Yep, that's pretty normal. That's kind of normal. So a 2-hour final, time between class, another 2-hour final, and then you go home. And then you repeat the next day and the next day. The 23rd is our final last day of school. It's a release at 11 a.m. You go to all your classes, so you come basically get your final exam scores, say howdy doody, see you later, have a good summer, go to your next class. No. So keep in mind, your final for third period is on the 20th, and my last day of seeing you for a full normal class is the 14th, so we'll do review here, but make sure you're staying between here and there. Now again, on the 17th, for however much time we see you, we'll do some more review on that day, but make sure you're studying to get there. Okay?
Is the final date on Blackboard?
Yeah, I'll post this up on Blackboard as well. I believe it might also be on the website. If it's not right now, then it hopefully will be soon. You are so welcome. Alright, so our final exam review packet, you'll notice, is split up over 2 days worth of homework. It will be collected on the day of the final, so make sure you bring that completed packet on the final day, as well as we'll be collecting your notebook, of course. Okay, any questions on that? Okay. Let's take a look at our warm-up.
Any questions, comments?
Alright, our warm-up. So So you're supposed to solve the following using the quadratic formula. You alright, Trey? You gonna make it?
ma'am.
You gonna be alright? So our first problem was 8x squared plus 6x minus 2 equals 0. So first and foremost, is this in standard form?
No. Yes.
Joe?
It's not here. It doesn't use mine. No, really? Oh, I thought you said yogurt.
No, deodorant.
Oh.
Like sharing. Okay, so our quadratic formula, we have written off to the side. Opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac
Over
all
2A.
over 2a. Miss Charlotte, did you sing the song for them for this? For third period?
I did for one of them.
You did for one of the periods. Was it third period?
I don't remember.
Has anybody heard this song for this?
No, let's hear it.
I'm not completely sure that I know because I didn't learn it. I've only had students sing it to me.
It's to,
Is it all around the mulberry bush?
so
So
it's
it's
x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
there you go. Isn't that wonderful? So you can sing a song to yourself.
Wait, can you do it one
I
more
still
time?
sing it to myself when I write it down.
Can you
Really?
do it one more time, please?
Like x equals opposite b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Oh, yes.
Just for you.
Amazing.
You'll see us on American Idol. Oh wait, isn't that show over?
Yeah.
You'll see us on The Voice.
So we go on X Factor.
X Factor. Man, there's so many shows. Okay, so you will be given this formula, but you are expected to have it memorized for geometry and algebra too.
X equals negative. Wait.
That was beautiful. Okay, so first let's identify our A, B, and C values.
I think that everyone who's late is gonna have to get up and sing that song.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh.
Now when they come in late, they have to first sing the song.
I like that.
All right, what is my A value?
It's 8.
8. 8. It's the number in front. So the number in front of your x squared is a. Because remember, we want it in standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so a is 8. What's my b value? Good. What's my c? Thank you, Chloe. So just the numbers. Just the numbers, just the coefficients. All right. X equals? Thank you. Plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 6 squared, minus 4 times a times c. Be careful with your use of parentheses for your negatives, for your parentheses. So that way, but still see what we're doing. I got the back. Do you need help getting your foot up? Here, I'll tilt your desk towards. Is that close enough? Is that okay? You good?
Now do you want some lobster or steak?
Get your foot off the desk.
You get to do it.
Get your foot off the desk. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is all over 2 times 1. Okay, so now we simplify. You can use your calculator to help you simplify. We now have our calculators back in the classroom.
Yeah.
So as we simplify this, we get negative 6 plus or minus. What is 6 squared? And what's negative 4 times 8 times negative 2? 64. Is that positive or negative? Good. And 2 times 8? Beautiful. All right, questions so far? So quadratic formula is just simply taking those values, putting them in. Right. And what's 36 plus 64?
Unknown.
What is the square root of 100?
10.
Negative 6 plus or minus 10 over 16. Awesome. Now, we should get two answers here. So we need to break it up into our two equations. Okay? So, here's here. My first one is negative 6 plus 10 divided by 16. My other equation is negative 6 minus 10 divided by 16. You want to keep stacking and making noises and singing and putting your foot up on your desk. Alright, what's negative 6 plus 10? And 4 divided by 16? So that's one of my answers. Negative 6 minus 10? Negative 16 divided by negative 16 divided by 16? Negative 1. And those are my two answers. Again, we should have two solutions. We have two answers. Now we're solving. What's another word for solve? Or what's another term for solutions? X-intercept. So let's use your calculator to help us check this. So get out your calculator and go to y equals. And let's type in our equation of 8x squared plus 6x plus 6x minus 2. And if we graph this, we should see our x-intercepts, which are the solutions, at negative 1 and 1/4. So we see negative 1, and that looks to be about 1/4. So you can use that to help you know you've done it correctly. Hit zoom 6. Remember, if your graph looks funny, do zoom 6. Alright, any questions on that one? Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next one.
What is this?
Our second warm-up problem was negative 2 plus x squared equals negative 4x. What's the first thing I need to do?
Put it in that form.
What's that form? Thank you, Ivania. Standard form. And again, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Alright, we already have x squared, but we need to move our 4x over. How can I move that over? Good. Add it to both sides. Can I combine that with anything now? So I have positive x squared, positive 4x, and minus 2 equals 0. Alright, now it's in standard form. Now we can do quadratic formulas. Guys, stop talking. Alright, so in our quadratic formula, what do we have first?
X squared. X. Oh wait, we're doing the B.
Thank you, Vanya. Plus or minus? Good. 4 squared minus 4 times.
1 times.
Good. Times
Almost right.
2. Square comes all the way out.
Over
And 2 times
1.
Wonderful. All right. Any questions so far as to how we got that set up? Okay. So now we just have to simplify from here. Negative 4 plus or minus 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 2. Positive. 2 times 1? Good. A common mistake I keep seeing over and over again from students is that you lose your division sign and you start stopping it right here. The whole thing on top is divided by that 2. Okay. Simplifying from here, negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 24 over 2. So now we need to simplify our root 24. Alright. So we're going to do our factor ladder here. I can take 2 out, and I have 12 left. And then I can take 2 out. 6. Take 2 out. 3. 1. Any questions on that? Okay. So I have one group of 2. So I can take a 2 out. anything else I can take out of my square?
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, we can't take out the 2 or 3 because there's just one of them. So we leave inside 2 times 3, which gives me 2 root 6. Good. So now I'm double check. I think you might have an extra 2 in your factor ladder. Alright, so -4 plus or minus, instead of square root of 24, we have 2 root 6 divided by 2. Okay, so our final piece. We need to simplify from here with our part, just like we would do with division, but we simplify what's in front of my radical. We can't simplify what's underneath the radical because it has to be under radical to simplify with my piece. Alright, -4 over 2. Whoops. It's just -2, right? And 2 divided by 2? 1. So 1 root 6, which leaves us with 1 on the bottom, but we don't need 1 in the bottom. And we don't have to write the 1 root 6, we can just do root 6. And that's our answer there. But make sure you have the plus or minus, because our 2 answers are -2 plus root 6 and -2 minus root 6. So you can write it as 2 separate answers, or leave it written together. Okay. Questions on that? Okay. Show me thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down how you feel with quadratic formula. Okay. Those of you that are completely down, make sure you come see us for some extra help with this, okay? Trinity, put it away. Thank you. All right, let's move on to our notes. Worksheet 12. This is what you have in front of you, our notes for today. Now again, our last topic of quadratics is how to graph them. And then we're going to do some geometry stuff in the next couple days. Yep, but we're doing that pre-geometry stuff, so it's algebra you need to know for geometry. It's doing algebra within geometry. So then you'll learn it when you do make it to geometry. Alright, so graphing quadratics, we've already discussed some of this material before. We've dealt with it previously. So we're going to go a little bit quicker through this preliminary stuff, and we'll spend more time on the actual graphing. Alright, so to graph a quadratic, this should say equation. So if you would change that in your notes to equation. Does yours say equation? No, quadratic form of equation.
Oh man.
The very, 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 very top. Alright, so to graph a quadratic equation, we must start in standard form. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Just like you need to be in standard form for factoring, you need to be in standard form for quadratic formula, you need to be in standard form for graphing it. When we graph a quadratic equation, it forms a U shape called, and we remember what it's called?
Parabola.
Good, parabola. 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 Good. Alright, now our leading coefficient tells us some information about our graph. Trinity, now that's what I'm going to ask you. Put it away. Completely out of sight. I want to see you on it again. Our leading coefficient is A. The very first number that we see in front of x squared is our leading coefficient. This tells us about our graph, whether it's going to open up or down. We've already talked about this. If A is positive, does anybody remember what that's going to do? Open up or open down? Oh, very good. So if A is positive, it opens up. Alright, so it opens up, just like the U and up, it opens up, makes a U shape. If it's negative, which way do you think it's going to open? Down. Just like the W there, it's going to, whoop, not the W, sorry, the N, it's going to open down. Alright, racism goes with races.
Yeah, up and down direction.
Oh, those are different races.
Directions.
Travelers. Okay.
Make America great.
Okay, the blank is the point where the graph changes direction. Let's see if anybody in this class can remember it. We had one person remember it last week. So if we look at our parabola here, it goes up and then it changes down. Here it goes down and changes to up. Does anybody remember?
Okay.
Well done, Trey. That is indeed called your vertex.
Singing it the whole time.
The vertex is the point where the graph changes direction. Alright, so now if our graph opens up, for example this here, what's another name for this point? What's a specific type of vertex? Not necessarily. It's the lowest point, right? What's your lowest point?
Domain.
No? No?
Actually,
Starts with an M?
molecular molecule.
Minimum. Minimum. It's your lowest point. So it's the minimum. So if it opens down, it's our highest point. We think that's called
Maximum.
maximum.
Instead of
So again, opens up. Your lowest point, your vertex is the minimum. Opens down, your vertex is the highest point, that's your maximum. And that actually will impact our range. Okay, now if we notice for each of my parabolas here, they are symmetrical. If I draw a line through it, they're cut in half. So if we draw a vertical line through the vertex, it would split our graph in half. It's symmetrical. We call this line the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry, or you can think of it, some people call it the line of symmetry. Now this is a really important thing for us. This helps us, this is the starting point for being able to graph our graphs here. So our equation for the line of symmetry or axis of symmetry is x equals opposite b over 2a.
Why do you say opposite? Why can't you say negative?
Some people call it negative. The reason why I say opposite is because if b is positive 4, and it's the opposite of it, which is negative 4. But if b is negative 4, negative negatives, you get positives, which is the opposite of it. But you can say negative. Alright, so in order to plot our graph, we need to first know where to point our vertex, and then we're going to know whether it's up or if it's down. Now, we'll get more specific in graphing actual points from there, but our vertex is our starting point. Okay, so steps to finding your vertex. First, make sure it's in standard form. Always make sure it's in standard form. Then identify your A, B, and C. Show you with me. Again, those are my coefficients and my constants. And then you need to find the x-coordinate of your vertex, which just comes from your x equals negative b over 2a. That's your line of symmetry as well as the x-coordinate for your vertex, because it goes right through your vertex. Well, once you have your x value, all you have to do is put it back into your equation to find the y value. Alright, any questions on that? Let's go ahead and find our vertex. So number 1, what is my A value?
1.
Good. Coefficient of 1. What's my B value? And what's my C value? Awesome. So since A is positive, is this going to open up or down?
Up.
Very good. Up. Alright, so now we need to find our vertex and our axis of symmetry. Okay, so x equals opposite b over 2a. You can use calculator. I'm going to first set it up. Alright, so what is my b value? What's opposite b going to be? Negative 4, good. Over 2 times 1. And what's negative 4 divided by 2? Good, so x equals negative 2. So that's my axis of symmetry. And that's my x-coordinate of my vertex. Well, we need the y-coordinate of vertex. Okay. So now that we have our x value, all we do is put this back into my equation to find the y value. So y equals
Trace.
negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 7. Now, I would highly recommend you use the store function for these. It'll make your life a lot easier when you use that. So let's review that. So I want to take negative 2 and put it in for x. So I'm going to do negative 2
Store.
store to x. Enter. Because, again, if you do negative 2 just by itself, that's fine, but you have to use a lot of parentheses. I feel like this takes less typing to do. Now I can just type out my equation as I see it. X squared plus 4x plus 7. Make sure I have the right equation. Did you guys also get 3?
I don't have a problem.
That's good. You can do it again, right? That's fine. You get 4. Minus 8.
No, I just put it into y equals and
You can also do that. Find it that way. Alright, so this value here was 3. So my y by my vertex is 3. So this is the starting point for graph defining. And we do expect to see that you identify each of these. I understand you'll be using your calculator to help you simplify stuff, but at least set up this here, your axis of symmetry, identify what it is in the end, set up your y there. But you can use your calculator to help you out. Okay. So again, we're just going to do a little bit of practice of identifying these values, and then we'll go into actually graphing them. All right, let's do number 2. Is it in standard form first? Okay. So my a value is negative 4. B value? Negative 4. And C value? 8. So my a value is now negative. So which way is this going to graph?
Down.
Good. It's going to open down. Okay. So now we find our vertex and our axis of symmetry. Okay. So x equals opposite b. So it's negative 4, so positive 4 over 2 times a. So that gives me 4 over negative 8. And what does that simplify down to? Okay, negative 1/2. So that is my axis of symmetry. And that's the x value of my vertex. Now this is a definite time in which using store would be super helpful because you don't have to type in negative 1/2 with parentheses over and over again. Right. So putting that into our calculator, again I'm going to store negative 1 divided by 2, store in for x, and then type in my equation, negative 4x squared minus 4x plus 8. You got 9. You get 9. Awesome. Okay. So this vertex is a little more unique in that it has a fraction in it. That's perfectly fine. You might get fractions. Nothing weird about that. Fractions are real numbers that do exist. Right, questions so far? Okay. Let's go and do number 3 before we move on, just because this is kind of a unique one here. So number 3, we have y equals negative 3x squared. What's your a value? Negative 3. What's your b value?
1.
1 is 0 or is it 1? How many x's do I have?
2.
How many?
Oh.
Okay, how many x squareds do we have?
1.
We have negative 3x squareds. How many x's do we have?
0.
0. There's nothing there, right? So we have 0 x's and we have 0 constants. This is the same thing as saying plus 0x plus 0. If I had 1, then it would have said negative 3x squared plus 1x, or just plus x. That's where we have one of them, right? That's 1x. But here we have absolutely nothing, so it's 0. Gotcha. All right. So if my A value is negative, this is going to open down. And let's go ahead and do our vertex and our axis of symmetry.
Oh man.
Too bad. Alright, x equals opposite b over 2a. What's my b value?
3. No. 0.
And the opposite of 0, 0. 0 is neither negative nor positive. So I mean, you can throw the negative in there, but it's just going to be 0. And then 2 times a, which is negative 3. So it gives you 0 over negative 6. But what's 0 divided by anything?
0.
0. So your axis of symmetry is just 0. X equals 0. Make sure when we ask for the axis of symmetry that you write x equals, not just a number, because it is a line. And if you do not have x equals, you're just going to miss a single number with the dot. Your vertex is 0. Okay, so when we take 0 and put it back into my equation, what do I get? 0. Very good. So my vertex is actually at 0, 0, which is also called
0.
Direct variations do go through 0, 0, but a parabola is not a direct variation. What is that called on the graph? What point is that? 0, 0, 0. What is it?
Point of origin.
Very good. On the origin. 0, 0 is your origin. Joe, I know you said it too. Okay, so this actually goes to our origin. So this gives us a general idea of what our graph looks like. For number 3, since this is centered at my origin and it opens down, I know it's going to look something like that. For number 2, since my vertex is negative 1/2, 9, so roughly it's going to look something like this, and it opens down, so something like that. For number 1, my vertex is negative 2, 3, and it opens up, so it would look something like that. So it gives us the general idea of what it looks like. Alright, now let's take a look at how to actually graph the full thing. I know we have the general idea, but we didn't know how skinny, how wide, how stretched out, how smushed it is. So let's move on to the next page. Page over.
Can't wait.
Here you go. Alright, find the vertex using the steps above. So what we just did allows us to find the vertex. After we have found our vertex, so that's this right here, up, down, vertex, axis, symmetry. After we have found our vertex, then we're going to create a table of values, and we're going to pick 2 to the left, 2 to the right, and that'll give us how wide or how skinny it is. Okay. So number 5, let's again go ahead and identify A, B, and C. So now what's my A value? Waleed, what's my B value? 6. Just pause the 6.
Oh, I was thinking.
We're just right now identifying it. And Trinity, what's my C value? Wonderful. Alright, so Alma, is this going to open up or down? Very good. Open up. Alright, Joe, so for my vertex, and you do x equals opposite b over 2a. So help me set that up there. What would that be?
-6 plus 1.
We're just doing the x value, the opposite b over 2a, not the whole quadrant. So I've got my 2, what's my a value? Good. Alright, so that would give me negative 6 over 2, which would give me what? Good. So my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 3. And my vertex, we have negative 3. We'll get there. And my x-coordinate for my vertex is negative 3. Alright. So now I need to find out what my actual y value is. Trey, are you figuring it out for us?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Trey, if Trey would, and then could someone else volunteer to also find it so we can just double check and make sure we have it right?
Don't.
Okay. So, negative 4? Awesome. Okay, so we got negative 4 for our y value. Again, we're just taking our negative 3 and putting it back in for our x's. Alright. So now we're going to pick 2 points to the left and 2 points to the right. I feel like probably the best way to organize this for you is, notice we gave you a box of 5, or 5 different boxes here. Let's go ahead and put our vertex in the middle. Negative 3, negative 4. We already know that one. And then we're going to pick 2 numbers before and 2 numbers after. Just pick the 2 directly before and the 2 directly afterwards. That'll help ensure that it's on the graph, you get too far out, it's going to go off the graph.
Obviously.
Alright, so let's go ahead and plot our vertex, -3, -4. And let's draw our axis of symmetry. Draw it as a dotted line. Do not draw it as a solid line, otherwise you have created something that is not a function, because it would fail the vertical line. Yes, I do want you to draw the dotted line. You can do it just lightly, it doesn't have to be. Sorry, it's going to help you see the symmetry there. Okay, so my x value is -3. So I want to also choose, this is really important, guys. We have -3, we're going to pick the two numbers directly before that.
I'm gonna have to sit suffering.
Trey, are you with me?
Now I am.
So I picked -2 and -1.
Oh.
Now I want to pick the two numbers directly after that. Oh wait, I did it wrong.
Wait, so goose.
What should I have done? I'm sorry.
-4.
Yes, thank you. -4, -5. That would be to the left, right? So now to the right, I would have -2, -1. So -5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're just going up. So -3 is here. So I want to pick two values to the left. So I want -4 and -5, and then two values to the right, -2, -4. If you put it in order like this, though, you should see it just goes into second. For us, anyway. You want to get out a pencil? Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to take each of these x values and put them in for our y values.
Let's break it up.
Okay, so we're going to take -5, put it into our equation, and find our y values. We did this back when we first graphed lines. So let's go ahead and do -5 together. Make sure we're doing it, and then I'll have you guys help me out for the rest. So -5, store for x. I want to see everyone doing this. -5, store for x. We need to find our y values. Right now we only have the x's. We need to find the y's. Because right now I just have my vertex. I need to know, is it here?
I stored it.
What are you saying?
So we do the top one?
Yeah, so we're going to start from -5.
Okay.
Starting in for x.
Oh,
Now we need to know the actual y value. So we're going to type out our equation, x squared plus 6x plus 5. So my calculator is taking -5 and putting it in for x there. So you guys get 0? Awesome.
I got 0. Get your.
Okay. So now let's do it with -4. Not that bad, really.
Can we just make it like 8 more?
Right, so then again, type in your equation.
Oh, you can just go up and
You can do second enter. Second enter will give you the.
you can just scroll up.
Some of them let you scroll, some
Yeah.
don't. Did you guys get -3?
Yeah.
Alright, then we already have our vertex. So now let's do it with -2. -2 stored in for x. Second enter, second enter.
Why can't I just scroll up to the intro?
Not all of them have the ability to scroll up. So what you want to do is hit second enter. Some of them can, some of them can't. Depends on when they were purchased. They came out with an update a few years ago.
How do I hit second then?
So second enter will bring up the previous one, then do second enter again, and that'll get you back to the one before that. Second enter allows you to recall what you've written before you typed it.
Good point, I can just scroll up.
So you do second enter over and over again until you get the equation.
Oh, got it.
Okay, did we get -3 for that?
Jump. And scroll up.
Okay, and last but not least, do it with -1.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? Come on. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Should be entering in
I
-1.
didn't.
What'd you get?
Zero. It's it?
You get 0. Alright, so let's plot those points.
No! Asking me the questions or comments.
-5, 0. -4, -3. -2, -3. And -1, 0.
Is it on the same symmetrical?
Oh, it's going to be what, Trey? Symmetrical. Remember, this is our axis of symmetry. It should be symmetrical on either side. So now all we have to do is connect them. Okay, that wasn't very good. Let me
What
try
is
again.
that?
It should look like a U. Do your best with it. That's fine. It should be a U shape, not a V. Do your best with it. I know it's kind of close together.
One of the 2 days.
V would be absolute value. It's always a U shape for a quadratic. So Naman asked a good question. He said, why is it a U shape, not a V shape? All quadratics look like that U shape. Some are going to be skinnier than others. Absolute values have the V shape. So for algebra 2, they're going to have the, and you need to be careful with your graph. Yes.
No.
Okay, so now Trey said something really important. It's symmetrical. If you notice, each of these points, this point here, is 2 away from your axis of symmetry, 2 away on this side. This is 1 away, 1 away. This goes through it. If we notice in our chart, because I picked, again, the -4 is 1 away, -2 is 1 away, so then we have these are symmetrical here. So we have 0, 3, 0, -3, -3, 0. We see it's symmetrical on both there. You will have this for all of your quadratics if they are all symmetrical. Now, if you pick different points, you kind of jump around. It might not be as easy to see. So I think it's best if we set it up this way with our vertex in the middle, and then pick the 2 points directly before and directly after. Okay, so now let's do domain and range. Go back. What'd you do? Alright, what's my domain for all parabolas? Oh. What's my domain for all parabolas? How did you know that, Trey? Where? You remembered. All real numbers. But we need to figure out our range. What is our range?
Every number greater than -4.
Every number greater than -4. Very good. Let's go back over that because I hear a lot of you that are talking that shouldn't be talking. My range, my lowest y value is right here, which is -4. And we have everything above that, everything greater than that. So y is everything greater than or equal to -4. And that's our range there. Good. Any questions on that? Alright, so again, this is going to be the idea that we do every single time, where we find our vertex, we plot it, and then we pick 2 points directly before and 2 points directly after. That'll give us that nice symmetrical shape, which is the parabola.
How can you not see it?
It's pretty smooth. Really good. Yeah, just water bottle the whole time.
No, that water's not mine. Tank top. That water is under.
Oh. Okay, any questions on number 5?
Show off.
Let's do number 6 together.
Obviously.
Alright, number 6, a little bit more work.
Well,
What's my A value? -3. What's my B value?
2.
And my C value? 2. Wonderful. The enthusiasm is overwhelming. Okay. Just gonna open up or down. Wonderful. Down.
What's a C?
C is your constant, the very last number. They know that. Alright, so now I'm going to figure out a vertex. So x
-6.
equals
-6.
6 over 2 times.
-3, which is
Good. So this gives me -6 over -6, which is 1. So my axis of symmetry is 1, my vertex is 1, and we need to take that, put it into factor y, right? So go and do that in your calculator, or in your head, whichever you prefer.
no. Use it.
What's this?
Whoa.
You're not Jesus.
Guys, enter in enter in 1.
Like,
He won.
who'd you hear that?
You
You
want-
answering them?
We are not discussing religion.
I got 41 somehow.
41.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot
Math.
to put an X. What's
Five.
going up? What are we supposed to enter?
5.
You're taking 1 and you're putting in find your Wi-Fi.
You said 41?
5.
Yeah.
Good.
I forgot to
5 is our answer. I don't know how
I
you got
put
41.
like -3 squared.
Oh, you did negative 3 squared.
I was in water.
You want? Me too. This. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this in the middle of our table. 1, 5. Let's plot it on our graph. 1, 5. And let's do our dotted axis of symmetry. You guys are really good at that job.
You're good at it.
Alright, so we have 1. So let's pick the 2 numbers directly before, 0 and -1. And 2 numbers directly afterwards, 2, 3. So -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay. Alex and Naman, I'm going to have you put in -1. Vanya and Kiwan, you're going to put in 0. Agil and Trinity, you're going to put in 2. And Trey and Waleed, you're going to put in 3.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, what do we
I know how to do it.
You're taking these values and you're putting them in for X. So you can either use the store button or parentheses.
I don't mean to Sean.
Okay, wait. Can you come here? Yes.
No.
All right, we need everyone to do so. Alma, you're going to check -1. Joe, you're going to check 0. Sabrin, you'll check 2.
Oh my god.
Morgan, you'll check 3. And Tayshawn, you're checking -1.
No, I already messed up.
I don't get it.
Good. So now you're going to type in your equation. So you can use the store button, take the number stored in, and then do your equation, or you can just do parentheses.
I put 0.
It's 2.
Yeah.
Yes. So 0.
I got 2.
What number did I do? Okay. So you want to first
I just need it up on the board.
then
Oh.
there. Now you're going to type in your equation. Negative
So Sean doesn't know what number to do.
No, you tell me to make it
I told you -1, but you can do 3. That's fine.
I did.
I know. I had multiple people do it to make sure we do.
Okay, so you're doing -1 or 3.
You can do either one.
Just get that.
-1 is.
I did it, but then it just disappeared.
See again. I know. Try to cook too much.
Yeah.
So, let me watch.
This is nuts.
Melissa.
Negative.
That's the
You
one.
already have it stored. So you
It's
have
like 10 o'clock.
We got another.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
And she was.
Last time I said her.
What?
I just
Well, you did it right there.
not the whole time.
All right, those of you that had -1, what did we get?
Oh, no.
-7, we agree? -7? Awesome.
No, I'm not.
Those of you that had 0, what'd you get? 2? K1, what'd you get?
It is
2.
Those of you that had 2, what'd you get? 2. 2? And 3? -7. Awesome. Again, you should see this pattern if you set up like this every single time where we have them repeated. Alright, so let's graph it. -1, -7.
If we already know the
-1, 1, 2,
Can we-
3, 4,
we
5,
can do
6.
domain range.
Yeah, you actually can.
Yeah,
You can do your domain range based upon just the
And then
vertex.
everything less than it included 5.
0, 2, 2, 2,
History.
and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, we notice it's 2 away, 2 away, 1 away, 1 away. Alright, go ahead and connect your dots. Make it, do your best to make it look like a U.
Connect the dots. Weird.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's that?
And we see it does indeed go down.
Looks like.
Whoa.
Okay.
What?
Alright, what's my domain?
All real numbers.
All real numbers. And my range.
Everything less than or equal.
Good. Everything less than or equal to 5. My highest point here has a y value of 5. We have everything below that. So what is less than or equal to 5? You want?
That wasn't me.
Down, please. Alright, questions on that?
Questions, comments, concerns.
Okay, flip it over to the back side.
Questions, comments, concerns.
Can I get a stopper?
I don't know, candy.
The next one.
Gracias. In Spanish, one.
Alright, let's change things up. Let's do the last one, and then we'll go back, because this one's a unique one again. Alright, what's my A value?
4,
4.
0, 0.
B is 0, and C is 0.
It goes. Wait, no.
So, Tayshawn, is this going to go up or down?
Down.
Up, I mean, because.
Exactly. It goes up.
That's not
Going
rabbit.
Is it going up?
Yes.
Why is it going up?
It's positive.
Okay, because it's positive. Alright, let's do a vertex.
Yeah.
X equals opposite B.
What do you mean that?
Well, it's your axis. It's both axis symmetry and the x coordinate. Over 2 times A.
Oh, we're doing number 9.
Which gives me 0 over 8, which is just 0. So my axis of
What'd you
symmetry,
Oh.
0.
Way you're going.
Never mind. Where do you watch it from? It's like never ending too.
I think you said a bad word.
Get out of the classroom.
Oh,
No,
you said
that was an F word. Please don't say that in my classroom. Or I said that's not that.
Excuse my body.
Joe fixed that.
You saw that, right?
It's very cool.
What did you get? Oh, you need to
No.
watch
You
it.
actually did it.
I need you to
You did it
focus.
twice.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, so now that we have our x value is 0, when we put it in, what do we get for our y value?
0.
Sure.
Yeah.
My y value is indeed 0.
Yeah.
So my x value is 0, and when I take 0, put it in 0 squared is 0. 0 times 4 is?
0.
Okay, so let's put that into my chart here. 0, 0. Let's graph it, and let's pick the two numbers directly before and directly after. -1, -2, 1, 2. And let's do our dotted axis of symmetry.
Ready? Speed.
Alright. Q1. Let's put in -2. Tayshawn, I'm going to have you do -2.
I
And
did one last time though.
everyone's going to do one. And
No.
Trey, you're going to do -2.
Because.
Nauman, Joe, and Morgan, you have -1.
Okay.
Can I do?
I already did mine.
Hold on. Walid and Alma, you're going to do 1.
I got 16.
And Sabrin, do 1. And then Trinity, Ivania, and Alex do 2.
Wait, which one do I do?
I gave you 1 right. Oops, did I give somebody 2?
Do I do 2? Is that what you said?
Hydro, I'll have you do -1. Alright, so check your number. Hit your number. And then store. Store X. And, yep. Alright, our -2 people, what did we get?
I got 16.
Tayshawn got 16? Did we get 16? 16? You got 16? Alright, -1 people, what did we get?
4.
Alright, 0. 1 people, what did we get?
16.
4. And 2, what did we get? 16. Alright, so even though we chose the 2 closest ones, one of them went off the graph. That's alright. So we're going to plot -2, and we're going to approximate where 16 is. Trey?
Yes, ma'am.
3, 4, 5, 10. About up here somewhere. I know it goes off. Just do your best with it. -1, 4. We have our 0, 0. 2. Whoops. I skipped it. Sorry. 1, 4. And 2, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So do across the
11, 12, 13, 14, somewhere about up there. Okay. It's going to be really skinny. Connected. And don't forget your arrows on the end. You're an artist? That's wonderful. Alright, what's my domain? All real numbers. And what's my range for this? Greater than or equal to 0. Good. Don't forget your or equal to. It starts at 0 and it's everything above it. Now, again, let's use our calculator. Help us double check. I don't think we've checked with our calculator yet. So, in your calculator, go ahead and just graph this equation. Y equals 4x squared. So 4x squared. I want everyone to be graphing this in their calculator. Because this is a great tool to use to make sure you did it all correctly. 4x squared. When we hit graph, you should see it is indeed at the origin. That lets you know you did your vertex correct.
Then we go to
You see it's pretty skinny there. And you can even double check your table to make sure you did that right. We do indeed have -2, 16, -1, 4, and so on and so forth from there.
forever ago.
Okay? Questions on that?
Questions, comments, concerns? Yes.
Alright, so let's finish up. What do you guys want to do, 7 or 8?
What? Yeah. He's like, I didn't
7 or 8, which one do you guys want to do?
I know.
8? Alright, we'll finish out with 8.
I didn't know what he said. He's like sprints.
So just scribble this. Okay. So we'll do 8. Okay. Last one, first few, 3 guys. Guys.
Persevere. One.
Seriously, like I'm seriously
I bet you can't do it. I bet you can't do it.
probably not.
You wanna watch me do it? You seen that talent show?
Alright, what's my A value here?
3. Rip all of it real quick. Let's make a recycle. Remember when someone said it?
Alright, what's my B value? Thank you, Kyle. And Joe, what's my C value? Joe, what's my C value?
Oh, singing. 8. 5. 8. This is on 5.
8. Oh, Joe. Alright. Stop with the humming.
Who is it?
Tayshawn is just going to open up her nose.
Who is it? Down. Who is it?
Why did this open up, guys?
Positive.
Good, your A value is positive. Okay, let's do our vertex and axis of symmetry.
Wait, so the A has to be positive for it to go up.
And if it's negative, it goes down.
So like,
Okay. All right, so now my vertex. Trey, help me set this up.
6 number.
Good, it's a positive 6 on top. 2 times. Good. Again, it's opposite B. Right now my B is negative, so my equation it becomes positive. If you wrote it out like this, this is fine. This will just give you a positive 6 on top. Okay. All right, so this gives me 6 over 6. And what is 6 divided by 6? 1. Good. So my vertex has the next value of 1. My axis of symmetry is 1. All right, go ahead and put that in to find out what your y value is. Thank you, number. It is indeed 5. Let's put that in the center. 1, 5. Let's plot it. Over 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have it's opening up. I get the feeling we're probably going to go off our graph pretty quick. Alright, so let's pick the 2 points right next to it. 0, negative 1, and right after it, 2, 3. Okay? When we put in negative 1, what do we get? 17.
8.
Good. When we put in 0, we get 8. When we put in 2, what do we get?
Probably 8 and 17.
I think you're probably right, Trish.
And that's 17.
Does 3 get a 17?
I got the best idea ever.
Alright, so obviously 17 is going to be way off our graph. So negative 1, here's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, somewhere around here-ish. Okay. And 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Over 1 at 5, over 2 at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 3, here's 10 above here. Okay. You could just do the little u with this, but it's the reason why we have you do 2 on each side because it gives you more accurate. But occasionally it'll go off the graph.
Yeah.
Okay, what's my domain?
All real numbers.
Good job. What's my range for this one? Joe, what's my range for this?
This room put December what? No, I'm saying December 1991.
What about 5?
Mission report is
That's all?
close.
Close. Greater than or equal to. Why do we have greater than or equal to for my range here? Good, it's going up. It's everything above it. Okay, questions on that? Alright, let's double check it with our calculator. Because we went off the graph so quickly, I want to make sure we have this right. Type in 3x squared minus 6x plus 8.
You got the what this?
Please stop talking. Alright, we see that this is pretty far up off our graph. The vertex is up to the right. Zoom 3. Enter. Will allow us to see the higher
You'll have to
points
come see me tomorrow or
Here we go.
I'll have to take those binders back.
Okay.
Take the back, go ahead and do stuff.
I'm going to pass out your homework to you. Your homework is worksheet 13.
I'll try to get mine.
Worksheet 13.
no.
I'll click back calculators here in a moment.
Again, if you need something out of your binder, come get it. Otherwise, come get it from me at the end of school today or tomorrow morning.